It is Ellen here at Yarn Doc, and it's Whipping It Up Wednesday. Um, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new here, thanks for joining me today. If you're returning, hello, old friend. It's good to see you again, sort of. What do I have in store for you today? Well, when I last left you, I once again said I was at 9 whips, and I wasn't. I was at 10. It was about 5 minutes after I put the video out that I went, oh, there's another one. So I said that might happen, and it's true. So at the end of last week, I was at 10 whips. My goal is to get down to having no more than four going at a time in specific categories. But I did get some finished objects this week, so I am making progress. One is this scarf that I'm wearing here. This is made from a um, cashmere on that was purchased from Timu. And when I purchased it, the listing said it was 100% cashmere. And now the same shop, same listing says it's a blend. Still all natural fibers, but a blend. I do have a review of this yarn coming out either this Monday or the following Monday. I do want to say a little word about my posting schedule. I have been posting 5 videos a week, and well, it's really fun, and I really love making them and doing the content and sharing stuff with you. It's getting to be a little much with balancing family life, 7 kids, 3 dogs, 4 cats. You get the picture. So I am going to cut back to 3 guaranteed videos a week. On Mondays, I will be posting a review. On Wednesdays, we'll be whipping it up. Hello, this is what you're here for. And then on Friday, I will be doing something else, whether it's something informative, some kind of list, a shopping haul, a shopping trip, something else, something different than a review or the blog here. So that's my plan. There may be from time to time a bonus video on Saturdays, but I'm not going to commit to a Saturday video every week. So we're going down to a 3 video a week schedule, but I still think that that's a good balance and provides a lot of variety for the channel. So you may remember that this scarf, the body of it was done in half double crochet herringbone. And then I actually took a blanket border and added that around the edge. And I think it gave it a nice look and a little more pizzazz, shall we say, uh, to what was just sort of a very basic um, repeated single stitch pattern. So all the border is 2 rows of V-stitch and then a shell into um, every, well, kind of every other V. So you've got a single crochet, a shell, a single crochet. So the repeat takes 3 V's in order to complete, if that makes sense. So yeah, that was that one. Um, it wasn't too difficult to finish up because, as I said, the body was done. Oh, I actually started, sorry, with 2 rows of single crochet and then did the rest of the border just to give a framework for the V stitch to go into, especially on the edges here where I didn't have, I just had the chain up uh, spaces. So anyway, I am pleased with the way that turned out. I'm glad to have it done and finished. And We're not really in scarf weather here yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So it'll be a nice little piece that I can throw on, especially in the fall when I don't really want to wear a jacket. I want to go a little more like this, but I might like something to dress up the outfit and to keep this area a little warmer. So that one turned out well. I liked the yarn, but as I said, a full review of it is coming either Monday or next Monday. And my second finished object is my lampshade. Now, I don't have it in here because it just would be awkward and difficult. But I do have a little video of it in place. So I will show that to you now.
So I have finally made this large enough. It is the same number of stitches, but I chained with the same size hook as I crocheted with, and that usually results in sort of this tighter edge. And I thought that might be good for the bottom and to give it a little bit of the shape, which is why I did it. Because I think I'm going to put my live edge actually onto the frame. And so what I did is the frame has 3 sections. So I counted the number of clusters that I had, which was 63, and then I divided it by 3. So that's 21 clusters per section here. And so I'm just going to single crochet each stitch around the section, and I'm hoping that that is going to work, and we will see what it looks like. I'm very pleased with the way this looks. It is really giving sort of the finished look that I was hoping for. I did do it just in a basic granny stitch because I think there's so much sheen and interest in the silk itself that I didn't think I needed something too lacy or intricate, but also because I'm not sure if this is going to work. And I didn't want to put the time and effort that goes into a full intricate lace pattern in and then have to frog the whole thing. So I think it might actually make a pretty cowl if it doesn't work as a lampshade. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to go and I'm going to see if I can put it onto the frame. And then I will show you the finished product. The good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it turns out to be. Okay, I will be back to you in just a second. There it is. All done. All on the lamp. And I think it has turned out quite well. Pretty much exactly as I wanted it. And yeah, I'm pleased. It was not so easy to do the single crochets around the top there, but that was mostly because the last shade that was on the frame had been glued on, and there were still remnants of the glue, and I had to actually wash my hook a few times. But I decided rather than try to get the glue off of there, that it might actually help hold this. So I just kept washing my hook and putting up with it. But yeah, I'm pleased. I now have a fully functional lamp back in my living room. And that gives you a little bit of the look while it's on. It's daytime now, so you won't get all of the sparkle in that from the sequins. But yeah, I'm pleased. I'm not having to frog the whole thing or end up with a lampshade cowl. So, finished object, pleased with that. Check, check, check.
Yeah, so that's all done, and it really looks attractive in the room, and is very pretty when the light is on in the evening. And we've used it. We hadn't been using the lamp at all, and now we've been using it most evenings when somebody's in there. We call it conquering the television. So either watching TV or playing video games or whatnot, hanging out with the puppies, who really are, they're they're a year and a half now. Oh, they're almost two. So they're not really puppies anymore, but I still call the 16-year-old dog a puppy. So I'm saying so a lot, I realized. I'm apologizing. So. You would think it's a sewing channel, but it's not. Uh, I, as long as I have my mother, I will put off all my sewing projects onto her. I know how to sew, but I'd much rather be doing the other kind of stitching while that's still an option. So, two projects that were on the hook last week are completed. So we go down from 10 to 8. But of course, I didn't just leave it at 8. I have put something new on my hooks. And I have been intending to do this project for months. If you've been around any length of time or watched some of my earlier videos, if you have, thank you. I'm glad you've been here. You were one of the 17 that started with me. You know that my husband and I take ballroom dancing lessons, or we're sort of finished with the lesson part, and we are part of a dance club, and we dance once a week. But in Germany, all kids in sort of the equivalent of high school or junior high or middle school take the basics of ballroom dance class. And then at the end of that, they have a ball. They call it an Abschlussball. So to say it's the end of the course. They've learned the basics. And after that, they can continue to take dance lessons, and they go from Anfänger, beginner, to Fortschritter, which is like next steps. Um, and then it's bronze, silver, gold, gold medallion. Yeah, gold medallion. No, gold star. And then gold star has 3 levels. So far, our three oldest kids have all gone at least to gold star. And the fourth one has his silver ball this weekend. And I knew it was early September. But the oldest son, not the one with the ball, but the one that lives away at university, who's coming in actually to go to his brother's ball, wrote me on the weekend and said, did Papa tell you my plans for the weekend? And I was like, plans for the weekend? What? And it's like, yeah, well, I'm coming in for the ball. And I'm like, what? No, that's next month. And he's like, Smum, Monday is next month. Do you ever do that where you're like, that's next month, that's next month, that's next month? I've got time, I've got time, I've got time. And all of a sudden, next month is here. Yeah. He also reminded me that my firstborn is having a birthday, not this weekend, but next weekend, or the weekend after. So not this weekend, but the weekend after. I made no arrangements. So all of a sudden, I'm booking a birthday party. I'm getting invitations. I'm sending them out. And anyway, I think it's all done and all worked out. But I just had one of those, like, where did the time go moments? And so I had intended, I bought several baubles and cakes and that to make a shawl to go over my ball gown, because all my ball gowns are sleeveless. And that's fine for when I'm actually dancing, but the going there and coming home, especially in the winter, it's a little too chilly to be running around in a sleeveless gown. Also, I feel a little exposed. I usually cover my arms. I don't know why. It's just um, my preferred, I guess, my preferred way of dressing. And so I'm like, oh, can I make a shawl, a lacy shawl in what was it? I started on Monday. So basically in 5 days. Well, the answer is going to be no. I'm not going to get it done. But I did put it on the hook, and I didn't get to it until yesterday. So I've only given myself 4 days to get this done, and it's just not going to happen. So I wanted to try and do it poncho style, um, but in a rectangular where the arms are long and open, and so it goes like the full my full wingspan and then down. Um, Sort of like a cape if it went all the way around, but not like the poncho where I can't put my arms up. Because if I do want it for wearing while I'm dancing, I don't want it just tied on. It needs to be sort of fixed, but I also need to be able to really move my arms and that. So um, it's almost like if you made a big blanket shawl, but with a hole in the middle for my head. Yeah, that's the. It sounds awful the way I'm describing it, but I can't think of a better way. Uh, so I had picked this Stenley. Oh, it's wrapped around this Stenley muffin cake, and it's like a bauble in that these are loose threads that I'm crocheting with at the same time, but it actually is much thicker. There are only 4 threads. I don't know if you can see that very well. Let me scooch, 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 scooch to you. I hope you're able to see. So, and then it's a gradient and goes from white to sort of this dark gray beige color, but with a large section of basically gold in it. And I don't know why I picked this one. It's totally wrong for my dress. My dress is navy blue. My ball dance shoes are sparkly silver. Um, so it's just completely the wrong yarn, and it's just turning out to be a much thicker weight than I expected. Usually, when I'm working with these 4-strand balls, they're still a very light weight. Um, but you can see that the way this is working up, it's much more like I was working with almost a DK weight. Uh, and so it's not giving me that light, airy, drapey shawl that I was looking for. So I am going to finish making it, but not for this ball. The question is, do I on Wednesday start a lace shawl that needs to be ready by Saturday afternoon? I don't know. But with this one, I'm back up to nine things on the hook. Now the flowers on here are only halfway done. The next row, I add 2 more petals to each. That's just as far as I had gotten. But to do them, the way you do this part, these 3 petals, is you actually have 12 unfinished double crochets on your hook at a time. So I'm crocheting most of it with my 6 millimeter Susan Bates inline soft grip, the hooks I always use, my favorite hooks. But I am doing that row only with um, my Tunisian hooks. And I only have one set of Tunisian hooks, and they're not really inline. They're pretty much a tapered head. Uh, so that's a little bit difficult, but it allows me to line the 12 up on the hook and then just pull through. And when I'm pulling through, I sort of grab the yarn and then I turn the head and pull through this way, especially because it's not 12 pieces of yarn on my hook, but it's 12 times 4 pieces of yarn on my hook. So that's been my strategy, and so far it's working. I've done it 3 times. But that's how I think I'm going to go with the flower rows. Now, this is so far a pattern from Olga Platava. She has a full video tutorial here on YouTube for it, and I will link that in the description box below if you are interested in this pattern. However, because the yarn is so much heavier than I was expecting it to be, and this is totally not the pattern's fault. It's a wonderful pattern. She is a great instructor. I have no criticisms of Olga or what she does. She's fabulous. But because this is thicker than I was expecting, and it's just working up very differently than it was in my mind, I am going to put more structure into the pattern. And so I will do one row of the flowers, then I will do the I'll actually just repeat this entire section and sort of do it in that way. So there'll be far fewer flower rows in it and lace chain rows, and give it a little more structure with the double crochets, sort of bordering these flower sections, if that makes sense. Uh, just because with this weight of yarn, I just think it needs the structure in order to sort of hold its shape and look right. Um, I just think there are patterns that look better in heavier weights and patterns that look better in lighter weights. And this one is turning out to be heavier than I had in mind for such a lacy pattern. So I think that's what I'm going to do with it. Um, it's it's fun in that most of it is a very quick, sort of mindless pattern, like everything but the flower rows. Like the first time you do it, you've memorized the pattern essentially, and then it's just very quick. Those rows just go very quickly. And then you've got the challenge of the 2 flower rows, and then back to sort of mindless watching TV, not really having to think about what you're doing. Um, so I think it will work out pretty quickly. But again, it's the wrong color. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. And I really was not expecting this yarn to work up. Like it doesn't look like it's going to be so thick, it, but clearly in my stitches it is. It's a very, I don't want to say deceptive looking yarn, but it's one of these that tricks your eye. Yeah, it looks smaller than it actually works up to be. That was it. So I will definitely do this, whether I do it this week or really try and push myself to do a silver shawl. I have some gorgeous silvers that I could do. I'm looking at it right now, a gorgeous all silver and gray bauble from Volamore, who I'm just um, crazy about their baubles. I have a Stenley. Oh, it's not called muffin. It's right here in front of me. What's it called? Souffle Luxe. A Stenley Souffle Luxe in silver. Um, so I could pull out either one of those and really see if I could crank something out. I still can't wrap my mind around being in September. Like, where did the summer go? Where did August go? I'm just, I don't know. I don't know. And now I'm thinking about all the things that I have on my list to make for Christmas. And yes, I realize I'm saying that on what is it, September 3rd, Christmas, but these things take a while to make. And I have a huge list this year, a huge list. I promised all my sons scarves, handmade scarves for winter, and that's got to be done before Christmas. And so I think, um, and maybe I'll do this next Wednesday, is I'm going to go through and just sort of lay out all the projects that need to be done before Christmas Day and make a plan for getting those done. Does that sound crazy? Do you want to hear about Christmas in September? I don't know, but that's what I'm thinking. Um, the other one that you're probably wondering about is, um, oh, don't stick together, is the shirt that I'm making for my daughter that I ran out of yarn for, and that is going to be made too late to wear this year. But um, I did nothing on it this week because I didn't have the yarn, but it came today. I'm so excited. I can't wait to open that box. That's the very next thing I do today is open the box, and I'll film it, and you'll probably see that on Friday. That's probably going to be Friday's video because I'm excited about it. Even though I was supposed to be saving this month's yarn budget, I really didn't. Oh man, did I not? I splurged to get free shipping. Yeah, I bought a one. I needed one ball of yarn that was less than €2, but if you spent, I think it was like €155, you got free shipping. So I have a big box, a big box. But I was like, okay, that's this month's yarn budget. I will save September's yarn budget, and October has its own yarn budget, and that will be good for my Croatia trip and Wool Fest, and it will be. It'll be fine. But I did place another order this week. Uh, I had some extra money come in. I still had a little money left over in my yarn monthly yarn budget. And between those two things, I was able to take advantage of the 70% off sale at Edna. And I don't, I'm sorry, I don't know if Edna ships worldwide, but um, that's about the only way I was ever going to be able to buy Yarbo Select. Um, and I bought a lot because I'm no longer, or I'm trying not to buy just one ball or one hank of something, but rather figure out what I want to do with the yarn and then buy a project's amount. So I bought a lot of yarn for that, including Christmas present yarn. So I think that's okay. But I do have two acquisitions to show you today. And then that's all for me this week. Um, and I bought them yesterday. I was in a store to get paint and birthday invitations, okay? But it's one of these stores that just has a little bit of everything, and a lot of what they have are like closeouts or discontinued things. And I didn't even know they had yarn, but they had just like one of those like wire shelves that goes sort of in the middle of a store. They had one of those of yarn, and then they had a bin of Wendy right at the front. I think maybe it was on special offer this week, but I don't really like Wendy yarns, so I didn't get any. Um, they're just not my favorite. If you like them, great. Everybody likes what they like. It's not my cup of tea. But in the back, actually right beside the paint, which is how I found it, was a rack of grundle. And they had these. So this is Grundle Norwegia, and it's discontinued. This is a discontinued yarn. And yet this may be my favorite yarn of all times. I was almost out. Um, I think I maybe have two balls of blue or one ball of blue, maybe a ball of pink. I had one ball of the green and I had none of the brown. So I bought all they had in the green because it is my favorite colorway. I love, if I had to pick at this point in my life one yarn to work with, it would be this one in this colorway. Um, I just adore it. It's 100% acrylic yarn, right? I'm pretty sure. Polyacrylic. Yep, 100% polyacrylic. Uh, but it is my favorite. I think it was the first yarn review I did. I didn't have any idea what I was doing. I didn't do a great job, but if you want, you can check that video out. But then I realized it was discontinued, and I was so excited to see it. So I got four balls of the brown, one of the green. There was one of the blue, and I left it because I have so much already in the blue. And then there was a colorway that I had never seen before, but it didn't really float my boat. So I did not pick that up. I left that. There was a lot of it. There was about a dozen cakes of that there. So I left it for somebody to do a large project with. But so I was really happy to get this. I don't know that I will ever be able to get it again, but I don't have anything made out of the green. Um, I have made several things out of the green. As I said, it's my favorite of the colorways, uh, but they've all been gift makes. So I want to make something out of the green. I only have two cakes of it, but I only had one. So I really couldn't do much of anything with just one. But with two, I'll be able to do something. I don't know what I'll be able to do, but something with them. Because there's how many? 250 meters per ball. So um, with 500 meters, I'll be able to do something. So that was that. And then this other yarn, I don't know if it is new to the Grindle line or I just haven't been shopping Grindle lately because I used to buy it at Fenny Pfeiffer and Fenny Pfeiffer is no more. Rest in peace, Fenny Pfeiffer. Um, and I know that Reman got the Grindle contract, if I understand that correctly. Um, but it's that's not a store I go in a lot. So I don't think I've been in one for about 6 months. And so I just don't know if this is a new yarn or just a new to me yarn. But I was with one of my autistic boys, and he's the one who is nonverbal. And while I was getting so excited over finding the Norwegia, um, he started going, happy, happy, which is a word that he does sometimes say. Right. This is not the first time he's ever said that, but I was like, oh, yes, honey, mommy is so happy. I'm very, very happy. And then I looked at him and he was holding this. And I just, you know, when you're a mom and you have sort of one of these moments with your kids, I bought it. I bought 3 balls. I bought 3 balls. I'll review it. I think I will try and make a hat on my knitting machine with one. And then if that works out okay, I will use the other two to make a nice big scarf to go with it. And I will just sort of get choked up. Just carry that memory. Yeah. Uh, Turn that memory into a wearable. So that's my second acquisition. Yeah, and that was my week, my week of crochet. Actually, I did a lot of projects as part of um, review projects. I did a hat and scarf set out of a yarn. I've done several knitting samples from yarns. I did some hair things for reviews. So I took sort of 2 days to really work on review projects. And so rather than show them to you now, you'll see them in the reviews. So I'm not going to sort of double dip in that way and take up your whole day with my week. And so we were at 10, we went down to 8, we went up to 9, and we might go back up to 10. At some point, I'm going to make some progress with these things. And I actually have a couple of plans in mind for how to do that and just sort of knock some of these off here. But that is it for me this week. If you stuck around and watched until this point, thank you so much. If you're not subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you did subscribe, especially if you want to follow me along on this crazy journey of getting my whips down to a manageable for me number. Um, no judgment on you if you have many whips and can handle it. It stresses me out a little bit, which is why I'm trying to get down. So if you want to come along for the ride, subscribe, hit the notifications. But I will be posting Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And yeah, thanks for being here. I'll see you next week.